Welcome to another episode of Shampoo and Booze, the podcast about hosting on Airbnb. This is episode number 2. We're laughing at our own name of our blog.
I think because I don't know if we've made it to where no one will ever find us because of to find
The
something
name.
on Airbnb, but it's all right. I like interesting names.
So today we're actually going to talk about cleaning. Now, cleaning is a huge part of running a rental. We knew that going in, but I don't think we realized the level that we would need to know how to clean.
Yeah, I mean, so in our first podcast, we mentioned that we also sell on eBay.
Yes.
So that's another, we kind of don't have jobs.
These are our jobs.
We've instead made little businesses because of the internet. And one thing we do, we sell things online, you know, and it's a lot of work. It's interesting running a rental. The exciting thing about it for us is it's as close to kind of passive income as I think we'll kind of get. That's not the right word for it.
Right.
Because of the cleaning. That's really the real work. I mean, the easy part is just approving reservations and just asking them if they have a dog, that kind of thing. But the cleaning is where the rubber meets the road. And some people, it seems choose to hire, someone else to clean.
Right.
But we don't do that.
Right. So I think also a huge part of what you're providing besides just the space is a neat, clean, organized, uncluttered space for people to stay. That is what you're providing. It's not something you think about automatically. You're yeah, someone can stay either in my shared room or my guest house or my house. But really the cleaning is a huge part of it if you want to be a good host.
Well, and again, what's interesting for us is I think, are good at running our Airbnb because we've stayed in a lot of other people's
We've traveled
Airbnbs, and we've experienced what other people think is clean. And I mean, we've been in places where we're staying in someone's apartment.
Right. They're away. They're traveling.
But they've done nothing to clean the place. I mean, I guess maybe in their mind they thought it was clean.
It was tidy.
But it's just stuff is everywhere. It's messy. It's dirty.
One place that we stayed for, I want to say 2.5 weeks. I felt like we lived there. The first day we got there, I had to clean. I had to scrub the bathtub.
Right.
Stuff like that is not acceptable.
So, obviously, like anything, I guess we each have our own levels of quality of what we think clean is.
Sure.
For us, clean is like a hotel.
Yeah.
You open up the door to a hotel, and that's what I love, is that everything's fresh and clean.
Right.
I'm the only one that's been in there.
Right, and that's my point, is that you don't, especially when you're flipping the house on the same day, someone checks out and someone's checking in, 3 hours later. You do not want those people to even think that people were here before them.
Right.
That's part of the cleaning.
And and for us, we actually rent out a home, so people rent the entire home.
Right.
So it's different if they were just renting a room in our house, but they rent the entire home. So we clean the thing top to bottom. And when we started this, I was a little worried, could we actually clean a whole house within a 3-hour period, because we let people check out at 12 and check in at 3. So we have a 3-hour period to clean a 3-bedroom house.
So the number one resource that has helped us with cleaning is the book called Speed Cleaning by Jeff Campbell. Someone suggested this to us because the first few times that we were cleaning felt very chaotic. It felt like it took the entire 3 hours. We were running back and forth, doing different things and not organized. And we read this book, and they just have a really basic, simple, efficient way to do things and have a mindset of don't go over the room twice.
Well, it's just teaching you how a professional would clean, and you treat it much differently than if you clean your own home.
Right.
Here's the other thing too, real quick. The reason why I was really worried about could we actually do this is because really for our own house, we're tidy people.
Yeah.
But we don't really clean.
We're not professional cleaners.
We don't clean our house and I don't want to gross anyone out. But we aren't every week scrubbing our house.
Every Sunday we scrub the house down,
we're more just like tidy people. We do wipe downs,
We vacuum.
but we don't clean our home like we're cleaning our Airbnb home for people who expect like a hotel experience.
Yeah, and so what we needed like a way to do an entire house between the two of us. It's good that there's two of us in less than 3 hours.
Right.
And so the speed cleaning really, that book really teaches you to not clean things that are not dirty. You know, don't clean things that are like clean. Like, oh, somebody didn't touch that room. Like we have a second bedroom on the top floor. No one went in there. Do a quick look around.
Right.
And, you know, it was just a couple, you know, things like that where it's not like you have to vacuum that room. No.
Well, I mean, I think a big thing to me is learning like what I do in a room is I start in one corner and I just move around the room, you know, in a line.
Yeah.
I don't jump from here to there to there.
Right.
I start in one corner and I go from everything on this wall, everything on this wall, and I go all the way around and then do in the middle.
And they always say in that book too is part of it is you have all your cleaning stuff on you. Like I have in my two back pockets, I have 2 different cloths. I have the sprayer. You do the sweep around with your, you know, visual sweep around, see what you have to do. You don't clean things that aren't dirty. And the other idea about it too is because we have a minimum 2-night stay, and if people do just stay 2 nights, it's basically light cleaning. Like, this is not a deep clean. It's like people lightly used your house, so you need to, like, do very light cleaning and, you know, visual checks of things. And if you have extra time, like, if you have a full day that people aren't checking in and then checking out, then you can be like, I'm vacuuming under tables that day. You know?
Well, I mean, it's definitely, you know, so people have to book 2 nights.
Right.
But, you know, often we'll get a couple. They stay 2 nights. They eat out most of their meals. I mean, it's like you can tell anyone's hardly been there. On the other hand, we have people that will rent a whole week because we live in like a vacation area.
Yeah.
And they will have 2 adults, 3 kids, a dog. And, you know, and they're heavily cooking because we have a full kitchen. And so people are cooking huge meals.
Right.
And you're really having to clean.
Right.
The good thing is that because we started cleaning well from the get-go, every single time the house is totally clean and fresh, so the filth doesn't build up, you know. Exactly. I mean, you know, and that's the thing, like there's no dust in corners. It doesn't, we clean it all perfect each time.
So let's talk about how we split it up, because there is 2 of us and we have a 3-bedroom house. And what happens is I do focus on the upstairs, the bedrooms, and the bathrooms. We have a master bath and then a half bath. And then I vacuum all the rugs. And now what Jay does...
And I work mainly in the downstairs where I clean the kitchen, the dining room, there's like a front room. And then I also take care of all the trash.
And the outside
and
stuff.
Then I do all the outside stuff, and we have like a grill area, and I also sweep and mop the whole house.
Right.
So why don't you talk about the specifics of what you do?
Okay, so this is how I do the house. So we have a smaller bedroom upstairs, and then we have like a master suite. So what I do is the first thing is I go upstairs and I strip the beds. I strip the bed in the small bedroom, and then I replace all the sheets and the duvets and whatever else needs to be done. I do a quick look around. The chairs that we have, like 2 sitting chairs, I make sure the pillows are, you know, it's quick. It's pretty quick. So we have these big IKEA bags that we bring all our linens in. So as I'm like doing the bed, I'm putting the dirty stuff in there. And then I go to the master suite, do the same thing. Strip the beds. Strip the bed. It's just one bed. Look around, see if there's dusting that needs to get done. I dust before I make the bed because you don't want to dust onto the bed that's made. Things like that in the speed cleaning book are great because you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, duh. So I do that. You know, there's coffee tables and things like that in these rooms, and I just look and see if there's like crumbs or, you know, spots that needs to get cleaned. And since I have my little cloths in my back pocket, I'm just like... And then once those rooms are done for bedding and dusting, I do the bathroom, the upstairs bathroom. I clean the sink area. And what we use is we have a spray bottle filled with half white vinegar and half water. We don't buy any 409, or you can use that stuff, but we'd rather just be, number one, thrifty, and number two, have a natural cleaner. So I spray everything down. Speed Cleaning book is awesome, teaching you how to clean a bathroom. I would not clean it properly, the mirrors in the tub. They're like, go in this order and don't go back. So it's perfect. So with the tub, I'll spray it down with the vinegar, wipe it down, and then I'll use, if the people have been there for like a week, 4 days, I will use this natural cleanser called Bon Ami. And it's a powdered cleanser, but you can buy it in liquid also. I have the liquid stuff.
It's like Comet, right?
It's like Comet, but it's all natural. There's no bleach. There's no chemicals. Like, you can get it on your hands. And, like, if you get Comet on your hands, you're like, my hands are burning. But Bon Ami is wonderful. I love it. I actually bought it in bulk on eBay. I found this one seller that had, like, pallets of it. And I just kept buying it from him over and over again. So I have, like, a whole, like, big box of it. And then, so in the bathrooms, obviously I take all the towels and put them in a big IKEA bag and throw them in our car. And then when I'm done doing that stuff, and this is pretty fast, I mean, I can get this done pretty fast. I go downstairs to the half bath, wipe that down. There's no tub in there or anything, so I'm just like wiping down the toilet and the sink and everything. And then I will grab the vacuum cleaner and vacuum all the rugs. We happen to be big like wool rug fans, and that sounds crazy for an Airbnb, but
I think it's for us. Sorry to interrupt. I mean, we have wood floors, and they're really beautiful. But if you don't have rugs down, it's just too much wood. It's too echoey.
We love rugs.
The rugs really warm a room, and wool is nice because it's easier to clean because it's a natural fabric.
Yeah, I like it. I don't mind, and really, like, again, hopefully you're not doing like super deep cleaning. Okay, so the vacuum that I use is actually this really nice lightweight vacuum called the Eureka Airspeed 1. And Jay just happened to come home with it after like he went to like some Black Friday sale last year at Walmart. And he was like, I bought you a vacuum. And I was going to use it in my office. But my office doesn't need to get vacuumed that often. So I brought it over to the farmhouse, which is our rental, and it was actually amazing because it's so lightweight that you're just like zoom, zoom, zoom,
But it's a real vacuum. It's not like
it's not one
sweeper.
of those. It's not one of those like cheap electric vacuums that's just for like a
sweeper,
tiny apartment. It's got a roller brush. The great thing is it doesn't have bags or it has filters, but you can wash them. So it's like you just buy the vacuum and that's it. I didn't think I would love it. I was like, oh, this thing's super cheap, because it's so lightweight. No, I love it. I use it like crazy. We use it, every 2 days.
And we'll link to it on the blog if people are interested.
We actually have a We Recommend page on the blog, and I link to all this stuff because these tools are super helpful when you have to do fast cleaning. So after I vacuum all the bedrooms and the hallway and the downstairs, and I'm just vacuuming the rugs mostly, my job is done.
When we get to our house and we know we have 3 hours to clean, we kind of like get into this mode and we each, so while Ryan's doing that, I start on the outside. So number one, we have like a brick fireplace / barbecue that we built that people enjoy, and so I go and I clean it because very often people will barbecue and they don't actually clean it. So I have to like get all the coals out, I scrub down the grills and just make sure everything's clean.
How long does that take usually? Just a couple minutes?
Not very long. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We actually provide charcoal. I mean, it's one of those things we talked about in our first podcast, like a bag of charcoal, I can buy it in bulk where I can get bags for about $4. And so we just provide that. Most people don't use ever a full bag. It might be a quarter bag or maybe a half bag. But it's like one of those things where like when you're coming on its vacation, it's just one less thing that you have to think about. And people really love that kind of thing, So anyway, I get that done. We have some nice gardens, not to toot our own horn, but it's one thing we did is that we kind of planted these real nice flower beds with nice plants.
Well, and part of it was it took us 3 years, right. So we planted them in the beginning.
Well, it's 3 years to redo this whole farmhouse. So one thing we did was we worked on the gardens.
And we did that straight away so that they would be kind of established by the time we got done.
And anyone that knows me, it would laugh because I am not a gardener or had never been, but we did it like we do a lot of things in our life. We did it in like a scavenger way, where we scavenged the mulch and the compost, where we just went on Craigslist and people had piles of compost they were just getting rid of for a free. So I'd go and get a truckload full and build the beds. Then with plants, we found some ladies in our area, some older ladies that have really beautiful gardens who are just giving away plants.
Yeah, they're perennials. Right, so they're thinning out their gardens, and they're like, please come take all these hostas and these, Russian sage. We're like, yes.
We probably got $1,000 or $2,000 it's worth of plants for free.
Yeah.
And
we can split them up now and move them around. So.
And because we did the gardens early on, over 3-year period, they really grew well. So anyway, I also, when I'm after the barbecue, I do a bit of weeding. So it's like anything else. If I just do a little bit of weeding every week, I keep up and the weeds don't get crazy.
Yeah.
And so when people sit on the back patio, they have these really nice gardens with the butterflies and the bees. I mean, it's so bucolic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it makes me sick.
It's really ridiculous sometimes. We're like, oh, this is really nice.
Then I go inside and I do the trash. So I take the kitchen trash and I walk around the house and we made sure we had like a little trash basket in every single room.
Right. Just in case.
Just in case, so no one can say, where do I throw the trash? There's always a trash can. I empty out all the trash. If people stay more than a week, we also have like an outdoor shed where there are some trash cans so they can put their extra trash in if they're making a bunch of trash. So that way the raccoons don't get into the trash.
Which they did before. Right. They used to when we put them outside. Staying at our house.
I mean, we live on the side of a mountain, or like near a mountain range, and we did have like a big compost pile where we were encouraging people to throw their food scraps, and we actually had a bear come and like rip up this compost pile. So so
that was the end of having the trash and the compost outside.
Yeah, exactly. So I take all this trash and I put it in the back of the truck because then we take it to the dump later. I go inside. My main task is the kitchen. So if it's only been a couple and they haven't cooked much, it's pretty easy. It's just like a lot of wipe down, go in the fridge. And just like it's Ryan said and I said earlier, that speed cleaning book taught me. I just start in a corner and I go around the entire room. It's once I complete a task, I don't go back to it and I just go, and it's really simple. Things that are tough sometimes are like it's microwave. Who loves to clean that, but you got to do it. In the oven, sometimes people will, they'll get like pizzas or they cook something where it's like all greasy. And so I basically, I put it's foil down, so I have to re-put the foil down. Up top, a lot of times people in the country, so it's always about bacon. They want to cook bacon.
It's always about bacon. I'm telling you, if it's a Sunday and someone checked out on a Sunday, you walk in, you're like, oh yeah, but they were cooking bacon.
I get it. I love bacon. So, and most people do a pretty good job wiping up, but it's a lot of grease and wiping up,
Yeah.
And then, a lot of time is just spent just straightening because, we have a certain way we put everything up on the shelf. Sometimes people don't follow our lead, so I just go back and put everything the way it should. Most people, incredibly, wash everything. So they wash all their cups and plates. I've never walked in and there's like a sink full of... So I feel lucky in that way. Then after that, is Ryan, by that time, it's vacuuming. I sweep. I just have a Swifter. They are pretty incredible.
I think it's called Swiffer.
Swiffer or whatever. And
Swiffer brand.
We don't use the actual brand name stuff. We just
like the generic
the fake
stuff.
kind.
Yeah,
but it's great. We have hardwood floors,
yeah.
so everything sweeps up. And because we do this every time someone stays, it's never really that dirty. And it's great.
Yeah.
I wish we had done this at our house when we first moved in.
So we could just get a routine. Well, now we need to.
And then we have plants inside the house, so I water our plants.
Yeah.
And then by that time, everything's kind of done, and then it's mopping is the final thing, and it's also just the Swiffer, a wet mop.
Yeah.
And just clean everything.
Those Swiffers, man. Like at first, I was like really skeptical.
Right.
I'm like, oh, what is it? Like my mom, of course, my mom's like, you gotta get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, Mom.
Right.
And then we got it. We were like, there's no other way.
It's good. Some guy at one of those companies had this great idea.
Exactly.
So and then by that time the place is clean, and we try and time it to where we don't have to wait around a long time to meet the next person. Normally the next renter comes, it's within an hour of us being done.
And we usually, this is like gonna speak to a lot of other like customer service things, but we try to make sure that they're gonna come within a window, because if we're done cleaning at 3, we want to make sure like either if we have extra time we can do other things at the house, or if they're going to be late, that they're like texting us,
right? Or if they tell us they're going to be there at 6, we don't actually get to the house till like 3, because it takes us about 2 hours or so to clean the house. So we don't go there early and clean and then wait around or come back.
Right.
We try and time it to where we're always about 2 hours before they come.
Yeah.
So we can clean everything.
Exactly.
And so that's because it's for us too. I know some people, they don't meet the people that it's rent there. We also have electronic locks, so we just give people a code, but we always love to meet every single person who stays. Number 1 is it makes us feel safer, and number 2, I think for the renter, it helps set the tone of a relationship. We want them to have a hotel experience, like nice, and make them feel at home, but at the same time, we don't want them to have just an anonymous experience and maybe feel like they can be a little extra dirty because who cares?
Like they don't know us. Yeah. And part of when we check people in is, we say we own this house. We took 3 years to redo it. Right. This is, a big deal, we don't say it like that, but we kind of say like, this is special.
Yeah. And it really only takes us 10 minutes to kind of give people a quick tour, show things how it works. They often have questions. Right. They have questions about where to go, where to eat, and we have like a little book that we showed them that we made.
I basically printed out the Airbnb guide. And I will say this, the guidebook is not printable. It looks horrible when you print it. So I took screenshots of it page by page and then printed it.
Yeah.
So
that's what's nice about having a partner that knows how to do its graphic.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer. So.
And so the other thing is too, I know some people hearing this might say, you're really killing it yourself by giving people till 12 o'clock to check out, and then check in at 3. But really, we're offering people what we would expect. Yeah. I hate to stay at places that want me out at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like, especially if I'm on its vacation, I'm barely waking up and getting out the door.
Yeah.
11 o'clock isn't bad.
It's not bad. But my favorite hotels, when we stay at hotels, when we travel or when we're on a job, is noon checkout. Right. That is the best.
And I would say 80% of people never stay until noon because they've got to wake up early to travel
to the next place or home.
So they never stay, but it's such a huge cool thing to give people. Like stay till noon, don't hurry, no big deal. It's like even if they don't take advantage of it, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to say it.
And then 3 o'clock check-in time that's just normal for any hotel. So really, it's just like it's just normal.
Although I've seen other hosts do 4 o'clock check-in, depending on their work schedule. Luckily, we just sell stuff on eBay, so we're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I did want to talk about real quick, you know, a lot of people do hire a cleaning service because I'm sure there are people hearing this that are like, why would you do this yourself? Yeah. That's insane. Clearly, the reason we do it ourselves is because we want to keep all the profit.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of its reasons. You know? We've looked into what it takes to hire someone to clean the house, and very often it would cost us maybe, I don't know,
50 to 75 each time, maybe. Right. And you know, some people do put a cleaning fee. I don't think we could charge a cleaning fee. If I were renting a place and saw a $75 cleaning fee, I'd be like,
yeah. I think this is just a philosophical thing for us when we rent places.
Yeah.
I like to rent a place that just has a nightly fee, and that's the fee. It's like a hotel, you know. I'm not paying it's Marriott $200 a night plus a $75 fee. I'm paying them $200 a night.
I'm paying them to clean the room.
You know, I would rather have people build in the cleaning fee into the price. That's just us.
Yeah.
You know, other people do it differently. Yeah. It's a philosophical thing that we've taken a stand on. But, you know, we like to do the work because, again, this is our job. Like, this isn't like we have a full-time job for somebody else. And this is like extra income, and so, yeah.
And another part about it, too, is we live where we don't live in the house, but we live in the same town. So it's not like we're, you know, this is our vacation house, you know, 2,000 miles away from our house. So, you know, if you have that situation, and I know people that have that situation, they're like, yeah, I have to have someone clean it. I'm not there. But for us, we are there. So
I mean, and I think even more important is for us, this is a real business. Yeah. Like, this is income we depend on, and the income we're using to invest in other businesses. So we want to have a hands-on approach. Like, we want to make sure the house is really as clean and presentable as we would expect. If we were just to hire someone to clean it and to show the place or let people just check in automatically.
Yeah, it'd be a different feeling.
I just wouldn't ever know if, like, the bed had been made the way I would expect it, or the sink was clean the way I wanted it, you know.
Now, that being said, because we travel for our other job, one of our other jobs, we have hired a friend of ours who is experienced in running helping other people run B&Bs, but we trained him. We went through it a couple times and said, this is how we do it.
And the cool thing was he had hotel experience, so he was actually teaching us some things
as well. He did teach us some things.
Which is nice.
He's like, why do you do this?
But in that case, that's where we wouldn't be there, and so we want the place. I mean, that's when it really is kind of passive income, where
when you're not there,
you know, when we're not there. But if we're in town, if we're there, we want to be as involved as we can, because again, I think quality control is so important, and that's where any business can like start to go downhill when they're really not, when the owner is not participating in day-to-day activities and expecting other people to pick up that slack, and they might not be.
And, you know, obviously there are many businesses that function fine where you do have employees that do that for you. But I really feel like people need to be trained, you know, to your standard and held to that standard consistently. So for now, it's just us doing it when we're in town, and it works for us.
And also, it doesn't always take a lot of time. Like, often we get people that rent for a whole week.
Right.
So we're really only cleaning the house once a week.
Right.
3 hours, you know.
It should be the same amount of cleaning.
And, you know, and that's the best for us. You know, so that's awesome because people might be paying us, you know, $1,500 just to stay for a week, and we only have to work for 3 hours, you know.
Right, when they check out.
But because we do a minimum of just 2 nights, there have been a couple weeks where it's 2 nights. So, like, we might have to clean the house, you know, 3 times.
Right. So it's interesting because sometimes when people stay for 7 days, the house feels like you're doing almost like a deep cleaning, sort of. Like, I'm really scrubbing the tub. But when it's 2 nights, 2 nights, 2 nights, those are light cleanings, but it's so many times during the week.
Right, so we're going there more, but actually it might even take us only an hour to clean because there's only one bedroom to clean.
Right.
It's really...
they haven't cooked.
Yeah, so...
all that.
And I'm sure there are people out there that have been doing Airbnb or doing these rentals a lot longer, and they're like, oh, just wait.
Just wait.
You're going to get sick of this because we're just about 6 months in.
Yeah.
But for right now, this is our business, and it just makes me feel good being this involved.
Right. Like, I think the best reward after cleaning the house and you're all sweaty, and we bring it actually like a change of clothes sometimes because we want to look nice when people come in and not in our sweaty cleaning clothes. The greatest feeling is to have people come in and just be so excited about your place and say, this is so great, we're so excited.
I have a huge ego that needs to constantly be stroked.
No, you don't.
I need people always telling me what a good job we do.
Yeah.
No,
it feels good when people are excited.
I think anytime you do something, when you make something out of a nothing,
right?
Like if you start a little business like this, it's just. It's so important to have that feedback loop of appreciation and hearing from them of like what they want different or change or what they do like. I mean, we even over 6 months have changed things in the house based on what we either see people say or what they do or don't participate in or use. Like I used to leave like a shelf of food of what I thought people might like to eat.
Like popcorn and, microwave popcorn.
But even like cans of soup and like, things that I thought people might want to eat, and I noticed that they just weren't eating it. So I just stopped. I pulled most of that stuff out.
Well, I think also like if we were running an Airbnb in a city where it's a lot more like college kids or like, that stuff would be gone. But we're catering to people who come with a family and they go grocery shopping because they're like, we have, we're not going to eat every single meal out.
And, and we want to buy our own food.
Yeah, they just... Yeah, so
let's talk about some of these products that we use for cleaning.
Yeah, so we use really simple products, and we're pretty like eco nerdy. So again, we use white vinegar and water and spray bottles.
Yeah,
it's really amazing. Like that to me sounds like that's not going to clean anything. It cleans everything great, in my opinion. I use Bon-Ami. It's BON, and then the other word is AMI. And you can buy it in a powder or a liquid bottle. I love it. It's incredible. And then Jay uses the Swiffer dry sweeper and then the wet sweeper thing for the hardwood floors. And then I use the Eureka Airspeed 1. It's a very lightweight vacuum. It costs maximum $50. You can buy it on eBay or Amazon or Walmart. And I love it.
And we aren't going to talk in this specific podcast about like bed stuff because that's a whole other thing. And cleaning laundry because that's a whole thing. But and it's for us again. We're real thrifty, and part of running this business is not having high expenses.
Yes.
So we actually buy as much stuff of this stuff in bulk.
Yes.
And actually, this house we rent has like a little. It's not even a basement. It's like
a crawl. It is a basement.
Cellar.
It's a cellar. Yeah.
It's a cellar,
like a walk-down cellar.
We couldn't make it into a room itself, but, it's where all the ACs and heater stuff is, hot water heater. So that's where we store everything. So if we're like Costco or like a discount grocery store or even like thrift stores and see like a bag of sponges or,
we'll just grab that stuff.
And we buy like all the toilet paper in bulk. And so that's where all that stuff is downstairs.
Yeah.
So we just always have it right there. And we don't really spend a lot.
We don't spend a lot. And because we are like, our other podcast is called Scavenger Life. We're scavengers. So like I saw this great deal at this like discount grocery store that we go to of like shampoo and conditioner, like kind of like fancy shampoo and conditioner for like $2. I was like, okay, $2 per set. I was like, I'm getting a ton of, because we provide soap and shampoo and stuff like that. Because it's so cheap. Like when you find stuff like that, you're like, buy it all and just put it down there. And when you need it, just fill it up.
I mean, that's why we say it's just, not only giving people a very clean neat, tidy experience like a hotel. It's also kind of like a hotel, just giving people some of the basic stuff. So if they forget, like, dental floss, like the last people just stayed for a week, they even said it in the
review,
just how great they loved it because they forgot the dental floss
and they didn't have to buy any,
and we just had one right there, you know, and that probably cost me $1, and it's been in there for like 3 months because not a lot of people use it, but you know, it's there.
I feel like amenities could be a whole other podcast because we like obsess over amenities.
Right. Yeah.
But for now,
cool.
This is our podcast about cleaning. I'm sure we'll talk about cleaning many more times, but this is the basics. So you can find our blog at shampooandbooze.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. We are in the iTunes store. And you can find us on YouTube as well. You can subscribe through YouTube.
And you can also come to the blog itself and put in your email, and it will email you
when we have a new post.
Yeah, and you know, the big thing for us is we would love to hear from people. So if you want to comment, you know, give us your experience. Maybe if you don't agree with some of this stuff, you know, there's all different points of view. We're really just kind of documenting our own experience, you know.
And that's it.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.